Oh my goodness. I'm adding to the video I just made as an afterthought. And I forgot what I was going to say. Is that fair to say? You know, when you make these videos and you honestly look at them and you think, I should have said that, I should have said this, I should have done that. I'm in that mode right now. New to this, admittedly, I've been doing it for a short while. Not like you would understand with other videos that you watch. But I'm new to this. I mean, so a lot of stuff, like, you know, you adjust your camera and you try to get your focus in place, and which I'm still mastering, honestly. Got to admit, I'm embarrassed to say I made a few videos that were less than in focus. Hopefully this is in focus, and I can tell you in making the confession that I made, and it's not really a confession, it's a correction of the record. Yeah, record, update, whatever. I mean, people make mistakes. I mean, I make a lot of them, and some of which I hope to never record, put on net, so everybody can go, you dumbass. I do that to myself when I look at my videos. I'm thinking to myself, why did I say that? Why did I do this? Why did I, you know, honestly, and it just, this video is about a confession, so this is part of half of the confession. Confession. Make that, Jesus. I gotta lay off the bourbon. Crap. But, maybe I need to add more to it. I don't. Okay. That's another confession. My daughter once expressed something to me that was kind of astounding. She goes, "Are you aware of how much you drink?" And I went, "Wait, so is that a double-edged question there?" Yes, I do, or no, I don't. Kind of confession. And I don't know how much it is that people have to drink that makes them less than sociable. And I've experienced my uncles. I think I kind of alluded to this in one of my videos. I don't know for a fact, but I have to express this confession that I was really in awe of some of the things that my uncles were capable of doing when they were astoundingly out of it and drunk. My Uncle Johnny, for example, who was about 4 years older than I was, he went to Vietnam because he was drafted and he had to go. I think he was 18 or 19, maybe 18, and maybe in his 20s. I don't know. I can't remember. Don't have the records. And during his tenure, he was involved in something that was astounding. I mean, he pissed off his first sergeant, who had the responsibility by his platoon sergeant to carry out the assignment of being on point all the time. Now, being on point in Vietnam is kind of a dangerous, you don't want to be there, just put it that way. But he was. And he was accredited for saving the platoon from an ambush to wipe them all out. There was like 50 people he saved, literally, by being on point and being stupid. Now, the way I understand it, and there are disputes on how it happened and what's on the record, but the way he told me one night when we were drinking, beer, and the way he described it was, he was on point and he was out there in the jungle in Vietnam, and he saw a Vietnamese soldier who was dressed all in black. They're, you know, pajama black is what they call it. And he was leaning there against a tree as a AK-47, cuddled in his arm. He was smoking his freaking cigarette just out there. I mean, he saw him. That's the enemy. Draw down, and he fired. He killed him. All hell broke loose. The ambush that was designed to trap the entire platoon was compromised. So the Vietnamese just said, let them have it. And they did. Now, being on the front, right there in the open, he was machine gunned while he was in a prone position. They sprayed him across this way. Took out his arm, took out his eye, basically killed him. But it didn't. It would have, but for some reason he was allowed to live. The platoon sergeant was shouting at Johnny, yelling, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" He goes, "No, I'm hit." And, "Well, can you get it back to us?" Now he was some 50 yards out in front of the platoon. He got a Silver Star with a V device for valor, which is right under the honor, the highest honor that could be awarded, the Medal of Honor. And he managed to get back, being shot up all over the place. Rounds going, can you imagine that? My uncle. And they put it, what happened after that was they did first aid on him, and they got him stabilized as best they could. Half your head's hanging out. And they put him literally on a rope that had a little crossbar on it and a handle. Told him to hang on to it, and they put it between his legs, and they were hauling him up to the helicopter because that's the only way they could get him up to safety. He died 3 times. 1, 2, 3 on the helicopter, and they managed to revive him each and every time. And they got him back to the MASH unit, Medical Army Surgical Hospital, and he survived. But the bone fragments from his skull and his brain caused him to have epileptic fits the rest of his life. He was paralyzed, partially paralyzed in his left arm, which means he couldn't barely play the guitar, which is his favorite thing to do, and sing. But he managed it in his own way. He did. He sang beautifully. He was a choir in the church. Not in the sense that choirs are, but Church of Christ, you sing. There's no accordion. There's no musical instruments. It's just voice, a cappella, as it were. But the damnedest thing is, what killed him was the fact that he had an epileptic fit while he was moving furniture to his new apartment, and the truck flipped over and crushed him because he fell out of the truck and it rolled over on him. So in a sense, what caused his brain injury killed him, which means he died in Vietnam, essentially. But his name is not on the wall in the memorial sense of the word. But in my opinion, he died in Vietnam. Another story is, and this is an odd one, when I was partying, and he told me a story about how they were sitting around a campfire back in Vietnam, and they were looking at magazines, and they saw the pictures of a Super Sport Chevrolet Impala, bright orange, burnt orange. And he said, "I'm going to buy that." And God damn it, if he didn't buy that. And he did. It was a powerful little sports car. It wasn't automatic. It was a shifter. And you had to shift the gears, and you're gone. And he was drunk as hell one night, and he came over and he goes, "You want to party, man?" I was thinking to myself, I was high, what the hell? Got in the car with him, and damn, boy, he tore ass around Memphis like hell on wheels. I attracted attention to the police when he jumped Jackson, the bridge, and he was 110 miles an hour easily, from what I could tell. And it sobered me up real quick when he went like 100 feet out and hit the street, and sparks flew everywhere. And the funny thing is, when he saw the police behind him, chasing him, he said, "Well, I'm not going to try this." So he picked a spot, of an abandoned service station there that was shut down, and you just pull over and park, get out, lit up a fucking cigarette. And I'm sitting there going like, my heart's in my throat, and I'm panicking like crazy. I don't know what the hell's going on. And the police get out, they do their police thing, and Johnny's sitting there and they're asking him all kinds of questions. He's not saying a damn word. The odd thing is, the two policemen that pulled us over knew Johnny from Vietnam, and they knew they owed their lives to him. They knew it. It was there. I mean, it was all, and I heard what was going on. There's conversation with him about the conversation with the car. He goes, I see you got your car, beautiful car. What the hell are you doing driving around like a maniac? And they pulled me out of the car. They didn't pull me. I got out of the car when they asked me. And I'm standing there going, are you sober enough to drive home? And I responded, well, yeah. Of course I lied. But they didn't care as long as they saw that I was able to do it, regardless of the state I was in. They didn't care. So they told me to get him home in no uncertain terms, and they followed us all the way back to the house with the lights, escort. Hell of a story. Admittedly, can't make this shit up. And I told my mother about it the next day. She goes, don't you ever get in the car with that man again. Ever. And she was pretty adamant about it. And being a kid, listening to my mom, I never did.